Welcome back to the next session of Creating Art over 70 with Cyan Rufus. We'll continue working on the Survivor Pastel painting in this session. What I want to try to focus on in this section is to really to push the depth a little more. So I'm going to start trying to solidify what the Survivor text looks like, and then start to push the depth in on that. But in order to accomplish that, I must first solidify this a little more, refine the detail a little more as to what it's going to be, and then I can move into pushing the depth back. Um, I might get into this area a little bit also, and I just might work on the. I'm still trying to think through the how I'm going to handle the pink of the ribbon. I'm probably going to definitely end up doing reds and whites. So, because the soft pastel doesn't seem to be working, and I don't have pencils in that particular pink that's needed. And a lot of it, some of it is also I started with the darker paper, so that has an impact on how illuminated or how light I can get the subject matter that I'm working on. Okay, so that's what I'm going to try to work on in this section. Enough said. Let's get busy. Creating art over 70. Survivor pastel painting with Cyan Rufus. Blessings. Well, yeah, I took I didn't do anything yesterday, painting or I should say art related. I went to the tennis courts yesterday. Even though I'm still not 100%. I went because the guys here, Rosarito, we have what is called. Let me see. What's the term I'm looking for? What I'm gonna call it, because I'm gonna call it the Akane Asada social. That's the term I'm gonna give it. So normally it's like, hey, we're having Kanye Asada this weekend, blah blah blah. Bring this type of a thing, and so it's really nice. So a bunch of us guys we get together and we just talk about the tennis things and stuff like that, and some food, break bread together. Some carne asada, some guacamole, all the stuff and all the fixings that go along with that. And so it was really cool, relaxing. I didn't go intending to play any tennis though. However, when I got there, one of the guys there says, "Hey, come on, let's hit some. We have blah 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 before the the social event starts, right?" So that had an hour. So the reason I was there so early, I thought it was gonna start earlier, but it wasn't supposed to start until about 1 o'clock, and so I had gotten there way early, at least an hour ahead of that. And so what we ended up doing was hitting. So I hit for an hour, hit some tennis balls for an hour. Oh, and I was so tired. So by the time I got home, I was sore. But it was an enjoyable day. It was a full day. I got out there early and I didn't get home till really, later that afternoon, late afternoon. So I think that was needed. So I didn't do anything art related yesterday. And so this morning I'm kind of picking up where I left off with respect to art, creating some art. Yeah, so this one I'm gonna try. You're gonna see me. I'm gonna be layering to. I'm gonna push the depth a little more in this piece. So I'm gonna be layering some of the darker values, and I'm gonna be throwing in some of the lighter values, so I get that contrast. And I'm putting this in so to make sure that I have my lights light enough before I start really pushing the darker values, because I didn't want to use up real estate for the lights while pushing the darker values. Even though with the pan pastels or the pastels in general, when you use this pastel matte paper, it handles layering of the lighter values over the darker values relatively well. But I started with a dark paper, so I want to make sure that I'm able to push the lighter values as much, because I truly want to try to get this the survivor text and the ribbon to give off kind of a glowy effect. And sometimes it takes layering, especially with the lighter values. I'll be using the tint of the purple range, and the tint is the lightest value of the particular colors that I have in the pan pastels. So I'm gonna push the tint as much as I can, and my thought is that if I push the tint and the lighter values, and then when I really start to focus on bringing in the shadow and the depth parts, I can layer some of that halo or that glow effect over the darks that I'm talking about. That's the thought. We're gonna see if it's gonna work. Okay. I love experimenting. At one point, I was, I guess you say documenting, what I was doing for my own reference as to how I accomplished it. But that didn't work for me, well enough for what I wanted to do, because then I started spending time going through notes, and I'm like, I want to have fun. I know it sounds like I'm eliminating a lot of things when I talk about the process and the workflow. And the fact is, I am eliminating a lot of things. I'm really trying to simplify this workflow. I hope this helps. Some of the things that I'm going through, I'm hoping it's helping someone who might be watching this video out there simplify their workflow also, so they can enjoy the painting process more so, and not have to concentrate on, if I'm doing a portrait, I need to have this in line. If I'm doing landscape, I need to do this, those type of things. And as I work on this lettering, you'll see that I'm really just trying to lay it in. I'm not going to be trying to get the perfect font or the incredible writing. We're not doing calligraphy. Is that the word? The writing? I'm just painting in the letters to the best of my ability. And I hope, just as long as they're legible and can be read as to what they're saying. If you read the word survivor, it's going to say survivor. I mean, you'll understand what it's saying. That's the goal, not to have the perfect font or uniformity within them. Well, I'm trying to keep them to the same, maybe thickness or height, width, but if that's not doable, it's okay. It's just a painting of a letter, and we're just having fun with it. Sometimes when I'm setting down the day, I still think about the piece, the pieces that I'm working on, and in my mind, I go through what I did, how it worked, what else I want to try when I get back to it, those type of things. Oops. I still got to remember as I paint that to take my time and layer, because I still want them instant rewards. I think when I touch the paper with the brush or the pencils, I want to see the end result. And that's not the painting process. There is no end result at that point. There's no end result until you really work all your refined details into end results. And that's the term I call heavy-handed. It's like, oh man, I'm working through it though, y'all. Yes, I am. Heavy-handed. Slowing my flow down. Sculpturing. A lot of it is just sculpturing. Just move your shapes, move your pastels around to where you get the shape, or you get what it is you're trying to represent. And so, sculpture. Just layering. And when I'm layering, I'm trying to build in what I think will work for the end results. The structure I'm putting in will work for the end results. As I paint, I always attempt to try to bring in the value levels as the same as much as I can throughout the piece. It just helps me. It helps me see where I'm going a little better. And so as I bounce around the piece, that's what I'm doing. Also, in addition to experimenting sometimes and testing the colors I'm using, see if they're working, the blending will work, for those tonal values. So when you're really trying to capture the depth of field, the how I try to accomplish it is to make sure that I use of course shading and lighting, blurriness. When I'm doing the depth with the darker values, I need to keep in mind what I will be trying to do on top of that, if anything. In the case of this particular painting, I need to make sure that when layering in the depth, I don't use up an awful lot of the teeth so that I could come over the top and accomplish any type of lighting effect that I want to produce. And this one, the lighting effect I'm looking for would be the glow of the text and the ribbon. I'm really excited about getting to that part. You know, I'm like like my daughters were at Christmas, like ready to open up those presents with excitement. Like, okay, I want to see what's gonna happen. I want to see what it's gonna be. I want to see what I'm getting. And the same feeling. I want to see what's gonna come out of it. I see it clearly in my mind, but I want to see it clearly on the paper also. So that's what we're going to be striving for. It's always nice to push that painting, push it, push it, push it, push it, because it just seems to bring out a much, much better representation of what you're trying to say if you push it. And what I say by push it, I mean, you know, the level of detail put into it, push. They have some pastel. It's called a like clear blender pastel. I opened it up and I used it a couple of times. But I really didn't quite grasp what it was doing. So one day I'll sit down and I'll look at it and I'll try it on something that I know what the effect would be if I did it a different way, so I could see what it's actually doing when I use it. And so it'll be a good tool in my workflow. I'm not sure. Also, maybe I'll look it up and see what they're saying about it, if I can get a better understanding as to what it does. There's some things I just like to hit it and to use it and to see what it does at first. But I would recommend, you know, trying it, you know, do a little research on it before just jumping into it and utilizing it. And then the brush selection I use sometimes, I use the larger ones to lay in a larger amount of pastels. And then I try to use the smaller brushes to bring in the refined detail. That's what I try to do. Just let the painting guide you. I always work towards that, letting the painting guide me as I flow, as I work, and I catch that flow. I just let it guide me. Okay, I'm gonna stop this session here. Turn the music down. I can leave the music on. Okay, I'm gonna stop this session here. Um, take a little break. I might do another session a little later, but I did a lot in this that I want to just kind of go over before proceeding further. Well, what I did here was to work heavily on the depth. And so I was trying to lay in a lot of the darker values to be able to push the depth back to infinity if we could. So that's what I was trying to work on here. I used black pastel in that in order to darken the purple tone to a little darker. And so I laid in a little black and then I came back over the top with the purple, the velvety color, in order to just darken it some more. I might have to do it a little more because I'm gonna take a step back after I stop this video and really take a look at this and see where it is right now and to how to proceed, because I think I want to try to start to solidify the survivor and the ribbon in the next coming session and start to develop the glow and the illumination of the glow on top of the cancer cell. And once I get all that done, we're going to be pretty close to completing this piece. Also, I'm going to bring in some more depth inside the cancer cells, so the little concave and convex features of the cancer cells will be a little more visible, a little more detailed or defined, so you can get a look at them, type of a thing. So, yeah, I think that's it. So, thank you so much for watching Creating Art Over 70, the Survivor Pastel Painting with Signed Rufus. Thank you. Blessings. Painting with a passion.